Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody? Check it out. It's Eclectic Minds Podcast. I'm Jose. Shout out to Liv. She away doing some stuff, whatever, but I'm holding the fort down today. I got a man with me that I respect very much. And I met him a long time ago, and he was dabbling, doing a bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And the radio was one of the things he was doing and stuff like that. And I always had some good interactions with him. You know, we ran into each other in the barbershop a bunch of times, and even when we didn't run into each other there, you know what I'm saying, I still always, had an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to have some good positive interaction with you. Ladies and gentlemen, my man Bear. How you want to go by? You want to go by the old school shit?
Yeah, the Sugar Bear is fine.
Sugar Bear.
But you can call me Bear. That's cool. Like,
cuddly mother.
Sugar Bear, but call me Bear. That's perfect.
Wow, you cuddly motherfucker. That's beautiful. What's up, brother?
I'm doing well, Jose. Yo, thank you for inviting me to the podcast, by the way.
Brother,
thank you for that, brother.
Yo, thank you for coming on this shit because, I know you got your thing too and whatever. And shout out your shit too right now.
Yeah, I do the Bear Facts. It's audio. We on all platforms. The Bear Facts, TheBearFacts. Every platform. You name it, Google Podcasts, Pandora, iHeart, Amazon, you name it, we're there, Spotify. So, I've been doing it now a couple of years. We up to 100. Actually, this week will be 122nd episode.
Oh, congratulations!
I've been doing it since July of 2020.
Yeah,
so,
that's dope. I remember when you had put that shit out there on Instagram and Facebook that you was thinking about doing that shit, and I was like, yeah.
It's really it's been something that's consistent, and it kind of came along at a time in my life where I was having some issues. Because I don't want to go into it right now because I'm still dealing with some legal stuff. But what I will say is this. During that time, I was dealing with depression. And so my wife and my kids are all talking to me every day, and they look at me and they're like, yo, you really need to do something with yourself because you're not looking good. Things aren't going well. And back in like 2014, 2013, I used to go online and I was like, yo, I'm gonna put like a motivational thing up on Facebook every day. And I did that for like a year straight. And I called it the Bear Facts. So when they started talking to me about different stuff, I was like, well, maybe I'll do a podcast. And initially I was gonna do the podcast based on those quotes. But what happens is we talk about it, and a week later, my son, who everybody knows is Baby Bear, but now he's a grown man, he goes by Jay Will, he comes home with the equipment. And he bought me all my stuff to do a podcast. So now I got to do it. I'm obligated.
Yeah.
Now they get it moving. So I did. And rather than it becoming this whole like motivational thing, it actually wound up becoming more like informational and political and cultural, because at that time we all know what was going on in the country with 45. He was giving us a lot of good material. So I started doing the show, and now I've been doing the show literally 2 years. So I'm really proud of that, and I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, brother. I got a lot of respect for you. I've always respected you, and I'm really humbled to be here. And I'm glad you thought of me. Looking at someone to be a guest on your show.
Yeah, it's no problem, man. Like I said, what I'm saying, we moving, the way we moving and things is happening. I want them sponsors to start hitting us up and shit like that, because we can use those. But
a lot of money.
Yeah, word. But at the end of the day, man, you know what it is with this shit too with me. I don't know if it's for you, because we started the same route. We started with the audio shit. We on all podcasts and stuff like podcast platforms and stuff like that too. And then somebody was like, my ex-wife, shout out to her. She was like, yo, they want to see you, Jose. People gonna want to see you. So I was like, and I'll be honest with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't want to be seen. I'm just gonna be honest. I was like, nah, I just want to do the audio shit. I ain't want to be seen. And then Liv was like, you know what? We should do this shit, call it volume 2, and do the audio shit. So I went out there. I said, all right, research some shit, see what I can pay for this and third. So I ended up doing it. So we doing it like this now. Bear, I don't know if it's like this for you, man, but I'm gonna be honest with you. This shit is kind of therapeutic, bro. Fuck that kind of. It is therapeutic.
Yeah, and that's what I said when I was going through that whole bout of depression. I mean, and I'm still dealing with that. And mental health is something that we really don't talk about in our community, especially amongst Black men. But the situation I dealt with, and eventually I'll be coming clean and very more transparent once my legal situations are done. But,
Yeah.
I'm struggling with PTSD now.
Wow.
I've had a few surgeries. So I've got a lot of things that are going on in my life over the past few years that unless you're in my, close circle, you're not really aware of what's going on. But I do want to mention that mental health piece. And it is very therapeutic for me. My therapist actually, was
That's
proud
real,
when
man.
I was doing it. And he suggested I maintain doing it and, continue doing it. And it's actually been very, very helpful. And the thing is, like, I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit. I don't intend to because I want to stay on the flow with you. But when we talk about the bare facts and you talking about your show, I don't know if you have, but I want to let you know what I've done regarding the bare facts. I own the bare facts. It's copywritten and trademarked. So for me, ownership is the most important thing. So what happened is I wound up finding an attorney, that could handle the trademark and all of that for me. And we were able to actually get full ownership of the name, likeness, image. So my logo is copywritten, the name is trademarked. Right now, there's a couple other people, they trying to do stuff here and there. I'm not in a space at this point in terms of my level of subscribers and things like that to really go after people. So I'm not doing these cease and desist.
Yeah.
But once we blow this thing over the next couple of years, I'm gonna be going at people because I own it. And I want to encourage you the same thing if you haven't. And we can talk off mic
Word bond.
regarding that. That's something you haven't done yet. But for me, ownership is probably the most important thing because I done been down the road of working for other people and having them try to control my name, image, and likeness. And I've always hated that. So with this, I made sure that I'm going to own it. And, that gives me the opportunity now if I want to do merchandise, whatever else down the road, I own this and I can do whatever I want to do. So.
Word bond. Yeah. We gonna definitely talk after this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm gonna reach out to you about that. Yeah, that is important, man. Word. And shout out to you for that. And shout out to you, man, for being so transparent, man, with that depression piece. Cause brother, I deal with my shit too, man. And people, people know me just for being a comedian too. They're like, oh, Jose, you so funny, you did. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, it's a time, man, when I can't I'm not laughing. I'm not making myself laugh. I'm in a dark place. And to move out of that, I did the same shit you did, brother. I heard you just mention your therapist. People don't understand how important that shit is, yo. Like, I was battling shit really, really at early 20s. It just came out of nowhere and just hit me. And I didn't know what the fuck was going on with me. I'm like, yo, why the fuck I wake up and I'm just not happy at all with the way shit moved. And the thing about it was positive shit going on. I was in college. I was, I had steady, people in my life that I necessarily can count on. Mm-hmm. I was in a relationship at the time that I felt as though that, was going to do some shit because we was engaged to be married. I was young. I was like 23, but I felt like, yo, this might be the one. It was just so many things that was good that was happening. And then all of a sudden, I just was dipping down. My character began to change to a point where I was being mean to her. I was on and off with the situation. One day I wanted to be with her, the next day I didn't want to be with her, and then I didn't know what the fuck was happening. Then she reached her point and was like, "Yo, I'm not dealing with you no more. I'm not signing up." And we was engaged. You know what I'm saying? We was young and engaged, and I was like, "You ain't serious. You got listen. We gonna get through this shit." She wasn't hearing it. She left, moved away, and then I had to deal with this shit and bear. And the crazy shit about that whole situation, man, that was killing me the most was the guilt. Mm-hmm. I felt so guilty because I couldn't figure out what the fuck was going on with me. Right. And then I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you, brother. I don't know if you ever been in this depth of depression. I started thinking about suicide, man. I thought about that shit. I called my aunt, God bless her dead, my Aunt Dorothy, and I was tearing up on the phone, and I said, I'm starting to do this comedy stuff, and now I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know what I want to do with myself and daughter. I said, I felt like I had enough. And I was contemplating ways to even do this shit. That's when she was like, yo, you got to go talk to somebody. And that was the best decision I've ever did, man. Ever did. I went and got some some help and talked to a couple people, and then I ended up getting diagnosed with some shit. But it was a journey, man. It was a journey, and we don't talk about it enough.
I'm happy to hear though that you chose not to do that, and you chose to go seek a therapist, brother. Because we need brothers like you to stick around, and that's one of the most important things about it. I think that's why, to me now, 2022 in particular, we got to really start to talk about this and remove the stigma of mental health. Because for me, I mean, you talked about it, 20. For me, I'm 58 now, which is something I never used to talk about my age. I got to be honest. When I was in radio, the vanity kept me from really, talking about how old I was at that
Nigga,
time.
but you look good though, bro. Word bond you do.
Well, it's supposed to be a young man's sport. So,
shit.
That's the thing. But anyway, right now at 58, brother, it kind of hit me when I was about 55 years old. And later in life, I don't know, I have to say, for me, the why it happened now, it didn't happen when I was your age. I was distracted by life. So I had kids, I had my career, I was working jobs, I'm in the clubs, I'm doing all of this stuff. And then, right after my 55th birthday in 2020, right before COVID, Allah was like, son, sit your ass down. And when he sat me down, for 3 years, brother, I've been going through it. And I say that because I finally had a chance to examine my entire life, not just the good parts, but my whole life. And when you go to therapy, the key is you got to open it all up. So I'm going back and I'm digging up shit from the childhood, from when I was growing up in Brooklyn, shit with my stepfather, my uncles when I was in Harlem, just all sorts of stuff. And now I'm on a journey to healing. However, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm still searching as to what I'm going to do next with my life. Because see, my prayer, I've always said this, and I had stopped. I was never in the space, fortunately, of the suicide thoughts, but I had also stopped, when I was a younger man, I used to always say, I want to be the first modern man to live to 150 years old. People thought I was crazy. But now I'm back on that. I'm on that thought again. I want to be around for a long time. So to me, wanting to be around for a long time, I got to figure out what's next. Because now it'll be like the third chapter for me. The first 2 chapters, I did the whole radio thing. I was doing some other stuff. Second chapter, I had a job that I won't mention right now. And again, I'm not being evasive, but I got some things going on. I'm not ready to talk about it because I got some legal matters that are still pending. But anyway, that career ended, and now I got to figure out what I'm gonna do next. So I'm in a search, and that being lost for the past 3 years was part of the depression. But I stopped using the term lost, and I now say I'm searching.
Yeah,
there's a big difference in words. And
words
matter.
Word bond. Yeah, the definitions is different. Word bond.
Yeah, so words matter. So right now I'm still searching for what's next. That's why when you reach out to me for this show, brother, I was like, yo. And it's humbling for me because I got to be honest with you. We talk about me being on the radio. This is 2022. Honestly, the last time I was on radio full time, I was fired June 18th of 2005. So we're talking about 17 and a half years ago since people have actually heard me full time, where I was on in your ear every day. The fact that brothers like yourself and people in the community and even the business itself still recognize me for that work way back when, that is probably the most humbling part of my life. I mean, to me, growing up in New York City, you listen to people on the radio, it's not like they come and go. You have your favorites, but there's always somebody else that comes along that can replace that person. So I always expect that to happen with me. Once I left, I'm like, yeah, all right, somebody else. It's amazing to me that people are still looking for me. People still actually, when I'm coming back, I probably won't be back. Like I said, it's a young man's game. My last time on was part-time, and that was 2014. And I was only doing Sundays then.
But you know what, though?
But people remember. So it's really, what I want to say is I appreciate that.
Yeah, brother. But you know what it is? I keep hearing you say it's a young man's game, but it's a market for everything, man. And it's a pocket for everything. And the thing about it, the reason why, listen, I didn't know you back then personally, but I was just happy to hear a black man on the radio doing his thing. You had, it was a dope show. You had dope shit on. You know what I'm saying? And the concept was ill. So my thing was, whether I listened to the radio that much or not, I just knew that your presence was there, and this shit was important to black and brown people.
Well, see, this is the thing. So, you know, if you don't mind, I want to take a moment to kind of talk about how I got there.
Yeah, definitely.
How the career actually started. So, like I said, I'm originally from Brooklyn. I consider myself a bridge baby because being born in 1964, like the kids say, I was born in 1900s. being born in 1964, that's like the last of the baby boomers. So the reason why I say I'm a bridge is because being the last of the baby boomers and whatever Generation X, I kind of got the best of both worlds. So I grew up on hip hop in the 70s, revolution music. So I'm growing up on the OJs, the Ozzy Brothers, all of that. But also hip hop is starting. So for me, I'm getting it all. So as a kid, I'm in New York, listening to the radio, you know, saying, wow, I want to do that. At 14, 15, you know, hip hop comes out. Me and my friends, we're hearing this stuff for the first time. My boy bought equipment. We taught ourselves. Like me and my friends, we taught ourselves how to DJ. You know, so I'm doing the DJ thing in New York. I'm telling them I'm gonna be on the radio. They laughing at me. You know, a friend of mine was going to school in Utica, New York, to Utica College. And at the time was a part of Syracuse University. I had no idea where Utica was. I never heard of it. One thing I knew Utica was Utica Avenue in Brooklyn. Right. So I come up north to visit my friend as a senior in high school. When I'm in high school, you know, I come up to visit. They got a radio station at the college. They tell me I can be on the radio. You know, I'm a young dude. There's mad chicks. I'm gonna use that word. That's what I call them, back then, chicks. There's mad women. And so my decision, I'm going to Utica. I went home and told my mom, I said, I'm going to Utica. She's like, okay, since you want to go to college, yeah, that's fine. Long story short, go to Utica, get on the radio, start tearing it up. I'm doing my thing. That's my major. I'm taking communication, my major. I get my first job from one of my professors. He's the general manager for what's called, like, at that point, it was considered soft rock, light hits. So it would have been Earth, Wind and Fire, Barry Manilow, Barbra Streisand, those type of artists. That kind of smooth stuff during that time. You know, Hall and Oates, all of that stuff. Now I had been doing all the parties in college. So this is Friday and Saturday nights. Now I'm making a couple of $100 for all these parties that I'm doing. They're paying me $3.25 an hour at this radio station. I gave up everything to be on the radio.
Damn, $3.25.
$3.25 an hour. That's what it was back then. This would have been 85. That would have been 85. But anyway, what I realized, I knew I was something special because the people in the dorms are listening to me on this station in the middle of the night on the weekend. And I'm playing this soft rock stuff. That's when I knew I was something special.
Yeah.
Some of my teachers told me that too. Fast forward, I leave college. Last year college, I meet my wife. That's how we met. We met in college. You know, I was a senior. She was a freshman. I seen her walk in. I was like, that's me. You know, that's the story. I'm sticking to it. and I scooped her up. She would tell you otherwise. She's like, oh, he always tell that story about that's me. I was like, yeah, that's what it is. I told my boy, I was like, that's me right there.
Word. You claiming that shit. Word. Ain't nobody else got no shit on that shit. Now, nigga, you see, that's my woman right there. She don't know the shit yet, but that's my woman.
And that's how it turned out.
Word. You say some shit like that now, they like, this motherfucker was stalking me, girl.
Nah, she walked in. It was like, you know what happened? I want to be in the RA for the summer freshman program.
Oh, that's dope.
Program. So it worked out to my advantage.
Yeah, right? You had an N. That's a mean N. The RA?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
So anyway, I wound up leaving radio and I'm working at the SUNY. There's a SUNY in Utica. That's now called SUNY Polytechnic or whatever. But I actually worked there a couple of years right out of college. I was the coordinator of student activities before they moved to the new campus. We were downtown in Utica initially. But I worked there, left there, started doing other work. ran into one of my professors from college, was doing a morning show on a rock station that was transitioning to pop. Mm-hmm. So I see him, and my young arrogance, I'm like 21, 22 years old. They had started doing a mix show. Now, this is a rock station, but they're doing a mix show on Saturday nights. For those who don't know what a mix show is, it's kind of like when the DJ goes on, does the dance party type of stuff where he's playing the hip hop, R&B, whatever. Back then, we're doing house and all that. But anyway, I'm hearing this guy on radio. I go to my professor, my young arrogance. I'm like, yo, you know I'm the best DJ, and you the why I ain't on the radio. And he's like, call a PD. So once I got all the nervousness out of my system, probably like 3 months later, my wife coaxed me. She's like, look, at the time, my girlfriend, she's like, look, you need to call this guy. So I did, because I was intimidated. I didn't really know real radio outside of what I had just done at this little thing. But then I wound up getting on the station. I was doing a mix show there for 7 years. So I learned the business. The year before I came to Albany in 93, I tried to be like the big man upstate, because a lot of the guys that I knew that were in the mix like myself, back then out west used to be on several radio stations. They'd be on 3, 4, 5 stations. But it wasn't like now where satellite dudes was just driving a different station. I wanted to do the same thing. So I didn't know anything about Albany, but I knew Fly 92 was in Albany. And I heard that they were doing, club fly and all that on Saturdays. So I came down here and met with the program director. At the time, he said he didn't have anything for me on Friday because I was already doing a Saturday show, and I wasn't giving it up because my show was really successful, and I had already built my brand on that show. So he tells me, well, no, we don't need anything like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. And I just leave. Like, we had the conversation. I'm back in Utica. Well, lo and behold, a year later, the station gets sold. We all get fired.
Damn.
So now I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? And I'm living in Amsterdam because we wanted to move into Amsterdam after Utica. That's where my kids were born, in Amsterdam. Because I was working out there, one of the facilities for the state. And lo and behold, I call him, like the same guy at Fly 92, maybe 2 weeks after we got fired. And he says to me, he's like, I was waiting for you to call me. He said, I got an opening for you. I'm like, really? So Club Fly wound up being open. So I started doing Club Fly on Fly 92. I'm in the building now. I'm having fun. Things are going well. Within like a year, 6 months to a year, I become the music director for Fly 92.
Okay.
And during that time, they wrote an article about that, because now we're going to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of the business and talk a little bit regarding race, because to me, these things are important. They did an article on me during that time when I was at Fly. And it was myself and like maybe 4 other brothers or sisters around the country that had any type of management position at a top 40 radio station. So I was an anomaly, not only an anomaly here, but an anomaly around the country, which I take some pride in. Because being able to come through the game, the way that I did and in the way that I did, I'm really proud of that. So now we're going to get to what happens after Fly. So now in 98, the end of 98, they approached me at Albany Broadcasting, which is the company here that I was working for. They want to flip one of their stations and they want to do hip hop. They call me and I'm sitting there and I'm like, are you all kidding me? I'm like, and I'm asking, I'm just like, you're sure you don't want to just do like an urban station? You don't want to do something a little bit, and they're like, no, we want hip hop. I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, and we want you to run it. So they like throwing me the blessing. They like throwing it right in my lap. They're like, and we want you to run it, Dan. I'm like, I had to really think about it. I was happy, but at the same time, I knew what that takes.
Let me say this. Let me say this to you. Let me ask you this. When you kept asking them that question, why you kept asking them that question like that? Y'all sure y'all want to do hip hop? Like y'all want to do hip hop, not an urban station? Because I
understand the racial implications and how white people see us at times and how things go. And I didn't want to have to deal with that. And unfortunately, I wound up dealing with it anyway, once we did get the station launched. And so we started the radio station in 1999. It was the first urban station here in Albany. I was the first program director for this radio station, which I'm very proud of. Built a great team. We had a nice run. The politics of the business is different. What I like to call it is kind of like the economic racism of radio. And part of and I was never given an explanation why I was fired. I got to be honest about that. I've never been given an explanation on why I was let go. It was just that, it appeared that we were moving in two different directions, what I was told. And I didn't seem happy, is what I was told. Whatever that means. People telling me my feelings, but
I'm about to say, how the fuck they gonna tell you how you feeling? Like, motherfucker, ask me.
right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We can talk about some more other shit later on, motherfucker. Ask.
Right.
That's like when women, but like, you know what I'm saying? You with a woman and whatever, like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Well, he's telling me you got an attitude. Like, I ain't got no fucking attitude. Ask me, motherfucker. I'm just chilling. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing is, it had a nice run. And, the economic, to me, it was part of the fact that, like I said, I started at Fly 92. So the economics of radio was this, and this is really the meat and potatoes. Does always come down to the money. Everything comes down to money. Mm-hmm. So radio is driven by advertising. Radio is not about the music. Radio, we use music to get people to hear commercials. That's really the business model. So the music is only there to get you to hear the McDonald's commercial, the Burger King, whatever the commercials are.
Whatever shit that's
so our job is to keep you listening to hear the commercials.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Popeyes, Phil's Neck Bone Shack, exactly. All that shit.
So within that context, depending on the type of music genre it is going to determine how much money you can charge for advertising. Mm. So now this is how we get into the story. At a Fly 92, which is considered top 40 pop radio, you will always get a higher percentage per point. So let's say it's a pizza of 100 slices.
Yeah.
Each station gets X number of slices. So let's say at the time, Fly was getting like 10 slices. Jams is getting like 4 slices. The other stations are dividing up slices. Everybody getting a slice of the pie, right?
Yeah.
The more Fly loses slices of the pie because Jams is growing. So we're cannibalizing within the company. So that's my sister station. We're supposed to be flanking for them, but we're actually beginning to bite into their slices, and now they're losing money. Mm. So what it becomes is that how do you stop Jams or slow Jams down, because Jams will never be able to make as much money as Fly. Even though we might have 30 slices, it's still gonna probably be less. They can still only charge less than those 10 slices. Yeah. Following me? And so to me, that's part of what happened, because there was no way for me to stop because I'm a competitor. So I had, I remember sitting down with general managers and they're like, Bear, it's kind of tough because the station is growing and things are going really well, but so I get it. But these are the things that happen to us when we get into these situations. I understood the business enough, though, that I still did what I felt like I needed to do, because to me, it was too much at stake. I had too many people that to me were important working for me, as well as the community that depended on us. And when I say community, I'm talking about the entire community, black, white, brown. I'm not just saying black and brown. I'm talking about the white folks too. There's people out there that love the radio station. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I need to maintain the authenticity of the station. I knew I needed to keep my foot on the pedal for this radio station and do everything I could to bring it to where it needs to be. From my perspective, because I was never given an answer, this became my conclusion, that it was because of the economic factors, which makes sense. When you're talking about a business, if your business is cannibalizing itself, then you got to cut something off. You're not going to cut off Fly 92. That's the breadwinner. So you cut Jams and you make sure that Jams stays where kind of in a space is there and they still making money. So that means we laid a great foundation. If nothing else, I'm proud of that. Yeah. But now we're talking about that station being 23 years old, 22, 23 years old. And me and my folks built that.
Word. Word. I mean, that's the straight truth. Word. That's the straight motherfucking truth.
And so for me, that's where it becomes, I can be proud of that and rest my hat on that, hang my hat on that I built it. I built it with some great people that work for me, and a few of your friends wound up being a part of that as well on the street team. Because I think that's how I really first met you, including those brothers. Yeah. You know, so I think, you know, and John Jams and
That's
you know,
that's my ace, man.
Well, you know, it's funny because I met John in his basement. They was like, yo, we got this kid, and we go down to his basement, and we were just starting Northern Lights. And I'm like, yo, I need a DJ. I was like, yo, I need a DJ.
Remember
So
that shit, man?
I broke him off some money. He changed his name to John Jams, and the rest is history.
Yo, that's
I mean, this kid was in his he was in his mom's basement playing music.
Word Bonnie was. Yo, when I first met him, I'm gonna bring the story when I first met him. When I first met John, you know what I'm saying? We went to Hackett together, right? We got two different upbringings, right? And I tell people this how small Albany is, Bear. You from the town, so it's different. You know what I'm saying? He grew up off New Scotland Avenue, Whitehall Road area. I grew up down the South End. This Captain Street, Morton Ave, hood shit, right? But if you driving through Albany, that shit is like blocks away. It ain't even that far. And the neighborhoods change just like that. The people, the neighborhoods, and everything just changed just like that. So when I first met the guy, you know what I'm saying? He had a lot more white friends than I've ever had. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, because of the neighborhood he grew in. And I wasn't mad at that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but the thing about it is that he was DJing, and I heard he was, you know, doing his little thing or whatever. And he was young. We was in Hackett. And I remember we had went to this Hackett semi-formal. I begged my grandmother, because she was one of them sticklers. You ain't going nowhere. It's shit in the street. I'm gonna kill your ass, because if some shit happen, you ain't got to worry about nothing else ever again, motherfucker. You gonna be dead because I'm gonna kill you, right? I went there to the semi-formal, begged her. She let me go, whatever. This motherfucker come with some beautiful looking shit. Who the fuck is this? She wasn't even in our school, Bear. I said, yo, who the fuck is this? Because everybody like, yo, John, yo, who the fuck? He was like, oh, she older than me. We was in 8th grade. She was like 16, 17, some Caribbean looking shit. I said, yo, I gave him a pound. I said, yo, you got it tonight, brother. She the baddest shit in here. You know what I'm saying? So we laughing and joking. Fast forward, we in the high now. We catching the 9 Whitehall Road bus together to go to school. Yo, we just started building about hip hop and R&B and music, man. And I ain't know, you know what I'm saying? Because he DJ and shit like that. I ain't know, because he lived out there with them. I thought he, might have been more so into some alternative and This motherfucker started talking to me about Marvin Gaye, Donny Hathaway, 112, Jack. I'm like, so now we harmonizing, singing shit, this, that, and the third on the bus. That was it, God. I was like, yo, this motherfucker know his music. And the thing too that I always respected about him, we would buy CDs just to open the credits up to see who wrote and produced what. He the only other nigga I know that do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's how we became like brothers. I was like, yo, John, yo, you heard Carl shit? Yeah, I heard it. That shit crazy. You know who did the beat, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we still do that shit to this day.
Yeah, my file was like that in my brain. My wife used to bug out off of that because I could name samples and everything else. And now that I've gotten older and I'm dealing with some other stuff, my brain don't work like that. But yeah, I was the same way. I would read it, know who produced it, who mixed it, where they did the mixes, all of that kind of stuff. Because to me, that's important. If you're gonna do music, then you need to do music.
Hell yeah.
Be a music connoisseur.
Yo, man. And the thing about it is that I love this shit so much. You know what I'm saying? I love R&B. I'm an R&B dude. Like I tell my friends all the time. And I can sing a little bit. Okay. I just love that shit. So me and him had that passion. It was like, yo, Bad Boy, So Def, the 90s and shit like that. And then we formed Fiasco. And that's our clique, a brotherhood or whatever that we got. We started throwing house parties. Right. So it'd be John, it'd be Steph DJing the house parties. And I'd be like, yo, I just love where we going with this shit. And then if we wasn't doing that shit, they was DJing other parties. We was going to, I know you remember this shit, Bear. We was going to the Black House in Troy, the college parties they had over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, it was just a great time, man, for everything.
The 90s and early 2000s was definitely, they call it the golden era of hip hop. And I have to agree with that.
Word bond.
For me, it was definitely a special time because that's when my career was at its highest too. So, that whole era is definitely, I mean, I got great memories of that. Balled out of control, spent a lot of money, but hey, when you young and black, you young, black and got money. So
that's it.
You do what you do.
And I hate to say it though, man, because at the end of the day, like we don't, what I'm saying? We ain't have nobody put our arm around us like that. But yo, you better save some shit, man. Like you better invest, you better this, and you better that.
Fortunately, me and wifey, we turned out all right though. I was out there doing crazy shit, blowing bags, but she made sure that everything stayed cool. And now that we're in this, elder space with grandkids and all that shit, we good.
That's good, and that's what matter. And that's what matter, man. And that's the perfect segue, man. I wanted to get into that too, man. I always see, what I'm saying, 'cause we friends on social media shit and stuff like that. I see that love, that love that you have for the family and for your wife, man. And people think that foundation is just built like that. It ain't no work. We do, we just together and this. No, motherfucker, that shit take work.
Yeah, I'm gonna start with this. Black love is beautiful.
Word bond.
But it is hard work.
Hell yeah. Yo, you still married. I was married before we touch on your shit, because your shit is a success story. I was married for 4 years. We was together for 6.5. And shout out to my ex-wife. We're great friends and stuff now and stuff like that, man. And I'm thankful for that. I still got my stepson. I'm in his life and I love him to death. But the thing about it is that I wish I was at where you was at, where you at now with your wife and stuff like that, man. Because honestly, when I was in it, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. But marriage it's a beautiful thing, man. With the right person, and you create that and establish that foundation, man. It is a beacon of light to people that's out here in these relationships or these so-called relationships of look, this is what you can do when you got the right counterpart.
Well, I told you, brother, I was going to be very transparent.
Do that, brother.
With this conversation.
Do that.
We've been together. I've known this woman for 37 years.
Damn.
We've been married for 33 years. Our anniversary is August 11th.
Word.
And so she'll tell you this, and I realize it now because we talked about the whole therapy thing earlier. When we first got married, I was very selfish because I was chasing my dream in my career. Most people don't honestly get a chance to achieve their dream. Once I was achieving it, I was really caught up in the dream. So having kids and a family for me was great, but it was secondary because to me, I got to go to the club. I remember, we would get into situations where she's supposed to come with me. The babysitter ain't show up. She looking at me like, where you going? And I'm like, well, I'm working. I got it. So a lot of stuff started happening. About 7-8 years in, we separated. The first separation, I think, was for like a couple of years, maybe 2-3. I don't even remember, though. Not that the numbers don't even matter.
Yeah.
No, I'm out doing my thing. She's doing her thing. We realize this ain't working, the kids. So we get back together. And for me, it just still didn't feel right. And, as men, I realize I'm a runner. And as men, it's like they talk about a 7-year itch. So it really seemed to be like every 7-8 years, I was like, so here it is after we get back together. About 7 years later again, I'm like, yo, I'm out. And during that time, this is when, we doing our thing at jams and we really blowing up. And I mean, I'm like balling out of control. That's when I was really out of control. Yeah. And I even ask my friends now, like, why y'all didn't stop me? And it's like, Bear, what was you gonna tell you?
It was an ego. It was
you like, no, yo, Bear, don't do that. Like,
it was your ego.
Ego was out of control. Ego was out of control. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that we tend to change our personalities when we're successful. And so, one of the things I've learned now is that that level of success, we got to also maintain some humility, and it's hard.
Word one.
It's hard because the money and everything comes easy. You know, at that point in this town, anything that I wanted was a phone call away. No matter who it was, politicians, you know, venues, whatever I needed, I could just make a phone call and get all my needs met within seconds. You know, and I'm being honest about that. But anyway, in terms of my life, my personal life, so in 2007, I had rather 2005, we weren't together. But when I got fired, she's the first person I called.
Mm.
And so at that point too, my son was living with me and my daughters were with her. And now I'm kind of like facing what am I going to do? So over the next couple of years, we still weren't together, but I'm spending all this money trying to take care of my son with me. And sometimes she got to cook for me because I ain't got enough money. So then we finally realized, you know what, let's just do this again. When we got back together the second time, you know what we did, brother, to solidify it? In 2014, which was our 25th anniversary, we had an actual ceremony because the first time we got married in the mayor's office in Utica. So we actually did, we went over to one of the churches in Albany. We had a reverend, I had Brother Anthony from the Nation also there. So we did kind of like this dual ceremony, which was really cool. Had them both read some scripture, do some prayers. We invited maybe about 100 of our closest friends. It was very, very intimate.
Yeah.
And then we did the reception up at Vapor at the Saratoga Casino.
Yeah.
Which was fantastic. And during that, you know, kind of like we're doing this visual thing now. I've always been visual. And so we had some people, we had our friends Arlene and Ali Brathwaite. You remember the Brathwaites. They shot us sitting like separate. We did like confessionals about our relationship. And we didn't see it until everybody else saw it at the venue when we did when we had a reception. Yeah. And the whole place was, you know, everybody was crying because we wanted to give them the same answers, you know, the way we talked about ourselves and our relationship. And so that was when we made the decision. I mean, before we went down the aisle, we had a very long heart-to-heart conversation. We were really transparent about everything that had been done within the relationship, the hurt from both sides, the transgressions from both sides, and we really just had an honest conversation. And we said that we would never talk about leaving, we would never talk about divorcing, that we would just have to kill each other. And so over the past 8 years, we still argue, and there's times where we want to kill each other, but we saying we in it for the long haul. And that piece of it is probably the growth for both of us. I know it is, especially for me, because like I said, I'm a runner. You know, I realize that about myself. When things get hot and I'm not feeling, I'm getting hot around the collar and I ain't feeling it, I'm like, yo, but that was such a waste of money. Like I look back at my life, you know, when I'm sitting in therapy, and the amount of money the boy has wasted between furniture and apartments and tricking off all over the country. And yo, I mean, I probably been a millionaire, probably a damn near billionaire.
Yeah.
So much money in my life.
Damn.
You know, but you know that you live and learn.
Hard lessons, man.
Right. And now we're in a space though that, you know, we have the grandkids. I mean, you know, and our kids are all adults. And one of the things, you know, despite all of that, believe it or not, in terms of them as people, I think we raised 3 of the best human beings on the planet.
That's dope.
Now, I have realized over the past couple of years, though, our relationship strategies have impacted them. My son don't want to have no kids. He don't want to have no kids. My middle daughter, she did get married, and she's the mother of 3 of my grandkids. She has my 2 granddaughters and my youngest grandson.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter, she has, you know, my older grandson. And the thing is, though, she's even like, I don't think I want to get married. She got a baby. She, you know, she with the baby father, but she's like, I'm not really. So I think that's the impact. And there's a part of me that feels guilty about that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you always want your children to be able to grow up without having baggage.
Yeah.
And although we didn't plan on it that way, and they're great people, there's still some baggage, and that's
Yeah.
because of us. You know, so my wife and I, we've talked about that, and we feel some guilt around that because we kind of I don't know if we set a good example, but I don't know if we set the best example.
Well, let me say this. The thing about that is, man, is that at the end of the day is that when y'all having y'all interaction, right? Most of the time, and I even say for myself, most of the time, the kids is around somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So whether you want them to see the shit or not, they gonna see some shit.
They hear it.
They gonna hear the shit.
And they still do till this day. They start walking away. They be like, "Oh, mommy, papi,
you know what I'm saying? Exactly. They be like, "Oh, motherfucker, this motherfucker about to say some shit. She about to say some shit." And then somebody about to tell somebody to get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And then somebody about to say, "Oh, motherfucker, I ain't leaving because I pay bills here too." You know what I'm saying? You know how that shit go. What? Motherfucker, we both on the lease. But my thing is that, and I say that to say this in a jokingly manner, but it's real shit. You said you was a runner, man. And I can identify with that shit because I was too. You know what I'm saying? And I think that hurt my marriage as well. Because, and a lot of men don't attest to this, man. We are emotional in our own space. Motherfuckers be like, nah, that's some bitch shit. No, motherfucker. Your set of emotions and the shit that you do and your actions is a part of your personality in some sense. So if you get hurt or something you don't like or something is done to you and you run or you shut down or you're deflecting, shit and stuff like that, that's a part of your emotions. That's the things that you're going through to that's pretty much is going to either make you or break you. And a lot of people, well, especially men and black men, they always, use the excuse like, oh, that's some, I don't with no emotional shit, this, that, and third. But a lot of them do. But they emotional and do they shit in the wrong sense. Like, I add this story, right, which is a fucked up story, man. And it hurts me to even talk about this shit even right now. But it happened. That dude that was upset at his baby mother went on social media cursing her out. Oh, you this, that, and the third, fuck with the next dude. He ended up killing himself and his kids. I know you had to hear about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's emotional trauma. You know what I'm saying? So that type of shit right there is prevalent that we go through our shit. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to acknowledge that shit or not, or admit to that shit, we all go through our shit. And if you're not in touch with your emotions in a correct way, that type of shit can happen. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of motherfuckers out here, and I tell a lot of my female friends, like, if you seeing them red flags from the very jump, he controlling, he checking phones, he playing detective, he doing all this crazy shit, that's telling you this ain't the one. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit right there can go to a whole nother level and you might not come back from it.
Right.
So,
that's a valid point, brother. To think, it's like we have to realize, though, and understand. And that's one of the things I learned in therapy. The only emotion we really know is anger. That's the only one we can really identify.
Quick.
That's the only one we can really identify.
Yo, brother, quick. So we hear some shit we don't like. What the fuck you say to me?
Yeah, and so we got it. I've gotten better with being able to identify what's really going on with me and communicating that. And the interesting thing is, though, even though I'm a communicator and I have a degree in communications, I don't communicate well with my spouse. We still struggle with that. You think that, and the fact that, like, public persona is everything. And not to say that at home is crazy. I'm not trying to mislead nothing. But, you kind of like, we still go at it. So the fact that we together 37 years, it doesn't mean that this is a bed of roses. We still have our ups and downs, but it's like you said, it's the hard work, but we also made a commitment. See, that's the thing, like marriage is really a commitment. And nowadays people don't really take commitment serious.
At all. Let me stop you right there for a minute.
Now it's just like you can get out of it. You don't have to do it. It's all right. Everybody's on this space of like anything goes. I do what I want to do.
Yeah.
But we really in 2014 we made a commitment, and we're sticking to the commitment no matter how hard it is.
Yeah, let me stop you for a minute.
Days that I know she want to rip my head off, and we get into it almost every day about something.
Hold on, let me say this.
Littlest stuff.
Let me say this. Hold on. So, two things, right? Because you're talking about your own personal journey with the therapy. Have you ever did marriage counseling therapy?
I'm gonna share this. I'm gonna be transparent. We did. Early on, I think it was the first time we separated. Before I don't even remember exactly when, but it was interesting because we went to a female therapist. It was a sister.
Okay.
So my wife was like, "Oh, she on your side." So it kind of like blew the whole thing.
So y'all never revisited after that?
Followed up. We never really followed up. Yeah, we never really followed up.
Yo, that might be some shit that might be some shit to help with your communication.
My therapist was telling me that. He was like, "Yo, y'all maybe need to come in here together."
Some real shit like that might help you out with your communication.
Yeah, because I actually wound up talking to her about it, in terms of my personal therapy now. And she said she'd be willing to do it. We just really never set it up. And again, I'm not, I'm not gonna present it like, there's nothing wrong in my marriage. I don't want to come across like, it was argued, but at the same time, I'm not gonna try to present it like it's all sweet.
Nah, hell
no.
No.
We real people with real feelings, real emotions. Some of those things never change. We both got things that happened to us growing up, like anybody else. So if you're a person that's in tune with who you are as a person, then that stuff's gonna come up, and you have to figure out how to navigate it with the people around you.
The second thing I was gonna say, hold on, not to cut your wisdom, was that trauma shit, what you just said, right? And I think that's such an important piece, man, because people don't really understand the fact of the matter that what happened to you in the past can be your present. If you like, I always tell people this about my story with me. I always say this, man. My mental health was so important to me that, and on a daily basis too, is because I knew that from seeing people that I grew up with and my own family members, if you don't deal with your issues would eventually deal with you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, y'all traumas, right, individually as people, you think those are one of the biggest detriments that causes the friction in your marriage and caused it, or you think that your own just, I'll say, hot-headedness and stuff is what actually caused stuff?
Well, she would be mad with me saying that I speak for her.
Yeah. They don't say shit for me.
Here right now, she'd be like, "Yo, you always talking for me." No, but I think a lot of it is, and she said it to me, and I've had to examine it. I grew up an only kid. So, people tend to say that we're selfish, and I have to really kind of consider that.
Yeah.
In terms of my decision making, because even till this day, as a man with a family, a lot of my decisions are my decisions, and it don't really consider everybody else.
Yeah.
And I've tried to work at that. It just doesn't come easy for me.
Yeah.
And when and at times when I believe I've made the decision for everybody, it still wasn't for everybody. So now to me it becomes it's confusing. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's kind of confusing at times.
But at least you acknowledge it.
Yeah, you try to figure it out. That's the whole thing about navigating relationships. And again, if we continuously run, then we never put the work in.
Word.
And so when we're talking about now, it's 37 years, it's a daily, I'm still trying to navigate this and still trying to figure it out. But I'm glad that we both gave each other the respect to give the energy to our relationship.
Yeah.
Because we got to respect each other first, more than anything else. So we can argue all day and all of that. But the one thing that I can say is we respect each other.
That's beautiful.
So we avoid like the language of, calling each other out our names.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. We really try
putting hands on each other, all that shit.
We don't do that. Yeah, we argue and all that. And we might not talk or whatever, but that physical shit.
Yeah, no place for that shit. Word.
Nah, we really avoid that because of the respect level.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why we never even got to that other space. So as bad as it was when we were separated, I don't think we ever got to the divorce piece because we still always respected each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because to me, and again, I've never been there. So I've asked people who've gotten divorced, you know, how do you make it over that hurdle? Because to me, I knew that there was times, and she'll probably say the same thing. There was times I knew I hated this woman. And I'm sure she felt the same way about me, but we still never got divorced.
That's a strong word, bro.
So how do you, I don't even know how people got over that hurdle.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, from my perspective, that was a tough one. Yo, the first feeling I felt when she served me with them papers, man, it was a failure. I felt like a failure, man. And the thing about it, originally, I never even wanted to get married because I never wanted to be in that situation to end up having to be divorced. Because my problem with myself is that I feel like I'm such a perfectionist at times, is that I feel as though any setback is a detriment to me as far as like, damn, you fucked up, you failed, you this, you that. Now this is how I was really when I was younger too. You know, that put me in that mental health space and made me just go on this downward trajectory. But what ended up happening was that with this divorce shit, it like amplified that shit, because I felt like I didn't just lose me, I lost my family. You know what I'm saying? I'm with them on a regular basis no more. I'm not talking to them. I'm not this, that, and the third. And what helped me, man, I'll be straight up honest with you. Shout out to my cousin, Loretta, and shout out to a couple people too, man. They was just on the phone with me, bro. I was calling people, man, and just saying, you know, I just want to talk. And we wasn't even just completely just talking about that. I was more so just talking about the fact of the matter that I said, you know what? I know that, you know, I got to take some ownership of this shit too. I got to take ownership. I know I wasn't perfect. I know I wasn't this. And when I talked to a therapist about that shit, she set me straight, bro, with one sentence. And I'll never forget this shit. She said, Jose, you come to me and you talk to me about this. And the first thing that I always see you do is that you blame yourself. She said, let me ask you a question. How many people does it take to be in a marriage? And I said, 2. She said, so why do you own everything that happened in the marriage then? Nigga, when she said that to me, I said, she right. Because I was like, I failed. No, we both didn't do everything that we needed to do. And shout out to her now, because at the end of the day is that, you know, that happened and we're past it. I love her. We like, you know, best of friends now. And I still love my stepson and stuff like that. And I think we become better with, you know what I'm saying, in the situation too, even from learning from the trials and tribulations of that, of the divorce. But bro, to be honest with you, man, I wouldn't wish that shit on nobody. That shit tough.
You touched on an important piece, you know, regarding like the depression, because a lot of times too, when we get into our depressive modes, we want to withdraw from everybody. But you said you reached out to your tribe. That's the most important thing, but that's something I'm still learning. Because see, one of the things for me, when we talk about my life and how I grew up and the things that have happened to me, but also with this music business and this game of everybody wanting something from me and not wanting me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like what I could do for people as opposed to like, yo, Bear's really a good dude. So I had to now that I'm getting over that piece, I realized I can call my bros. And now guess what? They call me without me calling them.
Yeah.
At the time, I always felt like I was the one making the call. Now I got real bros that call and check on me. But you know what it took? It took me having to be in this space to look at my life and examine my life and become a better friend myself. I'm intentional now. So that's why when you reach out to me and say, yo, bro, can you be on the show? We've been talking about it for a minute. I'm like, yep, I got you. And you see, we've been going since you said it, we've been communicating and I'm here. I'm intentional now. The people that are in my circle that I care about, people that I want to develop better relationships with, I'm very intentional in making sure I do that because we need a tribe. We can't do this shit alone, brother.
Hell no.
Especially when it comes to our mental health. So when those things happen, we got those dark moments, we got to have somebody that we can reach out to as a lifeline. It may not necessarily be the person that you're sleeping with. It may have to be somebody else, and that's okay. So for me, there's people, I got my wife, yep, I talk to her about most damn near everything. But then I got other people, there's certain shit I got to talk to with them because she ain't gonna understand it.
Yeah.
You know, so as we get, for me, as I've gotten older, I've had to realize all of that. So brother, I commend you as a younger man to be able to move through that. And I'm encouraging all the young brothers listening to this now that's in a space 20s and 30s and 40s. Yo, if you feel in any kind of way, get a therapist. There's nothing wrong with mental health.
Word bond.
There's nothing wrong with going to see somebody. I go to therapy, I cry, I laugh, I do it all.
That shit is important. Like I tell people all the time, like, yo, and I know a lot of niggas out here that they don't even go get physicals every year. And I tell people that
they got to do that too.
Yeah, I say, yo, you motherfucker, if you and the crazy shit about it, Bear, is that these motherfuckers is paying for health insurance. I'm like, you paying for some shit you're not even using.
And a lot of them got good jobs. They got jobs that pay for it. My wife laughs at me because she's like, yo, you always at the doctor. I'm like, that's why I look this good at 58.
Because that shit, I tell people that all the time. If you go get your car serviced, it's the same shit as going to get your body and your mental service. You know what I'm saying? You go to the doctor,
I'm at the dentist
doing that shit.
I'm at the dentist now because now the dentist is every 3 months for cleaners. They got some new shit now where they get more money. So I'm at the dentist every 3 months.
You gotta make sure.
So I go get a pedicure once a month. I get a massage once a month.
Yeah.
I'm at the doctor's office every year or every 6 months. I'm doing whatever.
Maintenance, bro.
Like I said, I'm trying to maintain.
Whatever that make you.
I get a haircut every week. We talked about meeting about. I get a haircut every week.
Exactly. Whatever that make you feel good, bro. You got to do that shit because it's important. Like I tell people all the time, like, yo, your mental health and your physical health, they're one and the same. Ooh. If this shit ain't right, everything else is gonna break down, or you're gonna take yourself out of a place or put yourself in a place that you might not be able to come back from. Mm-hmm. I used to retreat too, Bear. I used to always want to be. I would be in a place where I wanted to be around people, or I wanted to be around females, and let me just keep 100 and be around them, or being around my friends. And then there was times when I pushed those people away, pushed the females away, and then I just wanted to be by myself. Mm-hmm. But with that divorce shit, I just felt like I had to talk about it. Even when I wasn't with the therapist, when we was talking about shit and going through stuff, whatever, I had to talk about it with people that actually went through it. And my cousin, shout out to her, she was married for a while and then she had got divorced. So I was like, I know she gonna be able to tell me some real shit about her experiences, and I'm gonna be listening to it like, okay, I understand how this shit can go left and how I'm not the only person that, was in it. And I can't just be beating myself down like you the failure, you the failure, you the failure.
Well, that's how our minds play trick on us, though. How minds play tricks on us because we begin to believe we're the only one going through it.
True indeed.
Like nobody else is going through it, and that's why we want to remove the stigma. Like we've been talking, bro. To me, this is really important. If nothing else out of today, I know we've been talking about a lot of stuff.
Word.
Message that I would love, hopefully people get out of this. It's like, yo, mental health is important. Like, yo, talk to somebody. Don't be ashamed. Remove the stigma because it's going to help us tremendously. Not only us, but our babies.
Yo, let me say this, not to cut your wisdom. Off air, but when we talking about the other shit, the ownership and this and the third, I want to talk about this shit with us. I think me and you should put some shit together to advocate for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously.
That works. I've been, like I said, I'm searching for my next big thing. So that
Bear, I'm serious, man. Because at the end of the day, man, I think that, you older than me, you know what I'm saying? That's your generation where where you've come from and stuff like that. I'm younger, I'm 43, my generation and stuff like that. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily matter how young, how old. Mental health is important, man. You have to be able to navigate through life and be in a good place mentally. Because if you don't, that should take you to a place where more likely where some people never came back from. You know what I'm saying? I tell people this all the time. Life is hard, but death is harder. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not even affecting you. Once you're gone, the people that the people that you touched and you're not around for, they still hurting. You know what I'm saying? We just seen we just seen in a couple of months all these different rappers that's dying, bro. Like, bro, you know what I'm saying? I don't fuck with the Migos like that. You know what I'm saying? But they black men. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if I see any black man or brown man out here doing positive shit, making music, creating businesses, setting up their peoples and stuff like that to win and shit like that, then I support that. Because that's what it's about. When you get on, you have to open that door or crack that window for other people to get in for these opportunities. And to see him get killed like that at 28 years old, and the other rappers that fell before him and stuff like that, this is some other shit, man. We gotta have a black and brown man summit. Yeah. This shit is crazy.
I think that's a good idea. And what I want to say is, man, I've been seeing the hashtag online, and I've been kind of, gonna start using it. Hashtag boycott Black murder.
Word. I seen that shit too.
We gotta really do that, man. We gotta change our thinking. And we got to really stop, killing each other and pulling each other down. I mean, there's a bunch of things going on right now. And I know time, I mean, I don't know how long the show is, and I didn't want to get into too much, but I just did really want to touch a little bit on this whole Kyrie Irving, Kanye West thing.
Yeah.
And I'm going to hit it from a perspective other people may not necessarily think about. There's a level of accountability for all of us with the things we say and do. I'm just kind of tired of us allowing other people to dictate when and where that takes place. Mm. And we have to begin to really do what everybody else does. We rally around and support in public and do what we got to do behind closed doors. So this dragging brothers through the mud on social media, this agreeing with stuff without having information because that's what they tell us, is tired to me.
Yeah.
My podcast, I deal with those kinds of issues on my podcast.
Yeah.
And again, my podcast it's designed to be short, succinct, to the point, because I want you doing your own research and information. I'm gonna do it for you. I'm gonna plant the seed. We all know knowledge, wisdom, understanding. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm gonna give you the knowledge, some wisdom, but you got to find your own understanding.
Yeah.
And that's not up to me to give you that, but I'm gonna definitely plant the seed. And so when we're talking about these two brothers in particular, and I want to talk base really on Kyrie right now, because that's what the hot topic is. I was on social media today, on Facebook in particular, and I got up this morning and I posed the question: if you have an opinion about Kanye West, have you watched the movie? And just like that, well, there's now crickets. Mm-hmm. But if I was to say Kyrie Irving is crazy, everybody would have chimed in. Mm-hmm. I'm watching the movie now, brother. It's about 4 hours. Yeah. I'm making 3 hours in. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm very sensitive to the plight of the Jewish population. Mm-hmm. Close friends of the Jewish. I got close friends of every race, nationality you could think of, ethnicity, religion. I've been watching this movie. I'm a critical thinker. I understand the science. I understand the math. At this point, to me, I haven't seen anything that's overly anti-Semitic. Mm. Yet the word is out that the movie is anti-Semitic. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got to be careful where we get our information from.
Yeah.
We have to also do our own research. And that's why I wanted to say that part.
Yeah.
To me, it's really important for Black folks. We got to really stop. And just the way that this is going down, I just want people to consider maybe these two brothers is right on who's in control.
Brother, that's a whole nother fucking podcast episode, man, for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll touch and say this. I ain't seen this shit. Only thing I do know, and I feel bad for, I just think Kanye just been a downhill trajectory, like ever since his mom passed, man. I just feel as though he don't got no. That's like the same shit you had said about you, right? You was like, yo, I was balling, I was doing this. Why you motherfuckers ain't grab me and be like, yo, Bear, you gotta chill. I don't know how much money you had, Bear, but this motherfucker a billionaire. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's like, You got motherfuckers in his circle, they probably like, man, I was gonna say something to a nigga, but you see that Maybach out there, he just bought that shit from me, so I ain't saying shit to him. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, man, everybody need that type of person in their circle. Like, you know what, motherfucker, I don't give a fuck what you don't do, what you want to do for me. I don't give a fuck about that. You gotta hold them accountable. Like, yo, listen, man, you doing some shit that ain't right for you. Fuck everybody else. I don't give a fuck about what you're saying, this and that. Kanye gotta just get some help, man. You know what I'm saying? Because he all over the fucking place, man.
Right. And yeah, and that's true. And again, there's nothing like, to me, I don't want to come across that I'm caping for either one of them, because I'm not. But I think there's a lot of things that both of them do that are questionable.
Yeah.
My thing is, though, you know, we have to begin to give Black folks the grace that we give everybody else.
Yeah.
We don't do that for each other. That's
no,
not.
You're right. Yeah,
you know,
I will.
We don't do that for we don't do that for each other. So to me, it's like, okay, I don't agree with this brother, but I don't have to jump on the bandwagon of berating him on social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't need to jump in on that.
Yeah.
I don't need to support that and laugh about it and all those things, because especially if we're talking about mental health, like you know, I need to have more compassion, because I'm a person that got mental health issues.
Yeah.
So if I think my brother got mental health issues, why am I gonna make fun of him when it could be me? Because I could be next. I could be next.
That's
you know, people hear our story, and now we become the ridicule.
Yeah.
You know, so if that's the case, like, yeah, there's things he's doing is questionable, but but also, brother, I build on a different level. For me, it's like, well, who said it's questionable? Who said it's supposed to be the way they said it is? Why do we do things the way they say what we're supposed to do?
Yeah.
Why is it wrong for him to say who's in control? How is that wrong? I was in the music business. There's no denying that.
Yeah, that shit, that piece right there is like, I don't have a problem with that.
He
piece,
said that kind of, but that's what they're using. See, they're not using that he's crazy. They're using the anti-Semitic. They're using
that shit.
That go against the establishment. And that's where Black people jump on the bandwagon. We don't jump on the stuff that matters. We jump on the bandwagon about the establishment. The establishment was never established for us. But yet you're supported wholeheartedly.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
You going in hard 1,000% on something that ain't even meant for you.
Yeah, true indeed.
The system was designed against you to begin with.
Yeah.
So why are you giving all this energy to that against someone who may know? Like, yo, one of the things I realized, I had to change my thinking. This brother was in the music business, one of the most successful artists ever. If he tell me about the music business and he been there, who am I gonna listen to? I'm gonna listen to him or the newspaper. This is a brother that was making clothes. He learned the fashion industry. He knows the secrets. I'm listening to him or the newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody who's been there. Like you said, your cousin. She been there. She can give you information.
Yeah.
But we look at Kanye like he don't know what he's talking about. But he been there. I've been there somewhat. But I never been in a fashion house. I never been a designer.
Yeah.
But he's been all of that. He's done all of that. So if he's saying, yo, this shit is corrupt, why are we doubting that?
Yeah. Man. I just worry about his mental health to the point, man.
Absolutely.
And they try to use that to actually
diminish his credibility.
Thank you.
Everything else.
And all so you can't do that.
Check this out.
I always say, I would not to cut you. I always say, yo, just get help, brother. I just want you to get help and be all right. That's all I give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? That's all I care about.
But check this out. They said most of the creators of history, they called them crazy.
Yeah.
Beethoven, they said was crazy.
Mozart,
Einstein, they said was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but now they revered.
Yeah.
They revered now. So we gotta be careful how we look at this stuff. That's all I'm asking for people. Look, be open-minded. Yeah. See, you and I can build on this, God, because this there's stuff that we talking about that's on a whole nother plane.
Yeah.
You know, and
real recognized.
Yeah, but I also try to keep it simple and plain. So my language is always going to be in a way for the 10% to understand, and 85 to definitely understand.
True indeed.
I want the 10 to know that I know who they are. And I need the 85s to understand it. Yeah, you need to follow those of us that really understand this shit. But there's some real stuff going on in the world that people ain't paying attention to.
True indeed.
And we can do all that sport and play. We can be involved. We can have fun. Yo, I ain't saying. Because some people take it to this shit and they don't want to have fun enough. I'm not one of those. I'm going to have my fun, but I also got my head on a swivel. You know, and I'm paying attention to these distractions and all these things going on. And so when I see brothers like a Kanye or a Kyrie, yeah, I'm looking at them and I'm saying, but let me dig deeper.
Yeah.
Before I pass judgment. So I started watching the movie and I'm like, But then, brother, check this out. The book was done, I think, in 2015, and I think the movie was 2018. Both available on a platform called Amazon. I ain't hear nobody yet say Amazon pull that shit down.
Yeah.
So Kyrie is losing money for a post where he didn't even say nothing. He didn't say he supported it. He just posted it.
Yeah.
Suspended for 5 games. He done already gave up 500,000 racks that they ain't giving them back. Well, no, they said they wasn't taking it from him. They said they didn't want it. But anyway, my point is this. They still making money.
True indeed.
But he's being castrated.
Yeah.
And we help him.
Yeah, they want to make an example out of him.
When my podcast comes out tomorrow, brother, and I know this is your podcast, but if you don't mind, I just want to give a quick plug on that.
Now, plug your shit, yeah.
The bare facts. I'm gonna tell you exactly how I said it in my show, because to me, and I make a connection because I have a way, like God has blessed me with a way with words, and my brain works in a certain way. So I'm gonna say exactly what I talk about in the show. Kyrie Irving is the example of what we call buck breaking, what they used to do to slaves during the slave trade. Buck breaking was this. They started out initially where they would take the man and put the strongest man or the one who was the rebellious or whatever, strip him naked and start to flog him and beat him. Buck breaking later became them raping this man in front of the entire set of slaves.
Yeah.
You know what that does? That makes everybody else scared, and it emasculates him.
Yeah.
In 2022, they taking Kyrie Irving. He's a man with money. They taking his money. The rest of us are watching. If they're gonna do that to Kyrie Irving, what they gonna do to Joe that worked for Morgan Stanley?
True indeed.
Or the young kid that works for McDonald's? It's how you scare people. These are tactics they've been using for years, brother.
Yeah, they just doing it differently.
Right, and we keep falling for it. So that's where I'm at on it. So yeah, we can talk about what he did and didn't do, but I'm looking at what the tactics are. What's really going on? What's the real story? Because if you pull that shit off of Amazon, then there's obviously something else going on.
True indeed. True indeed.
Because it should have been off of Amazon. I'm sure.
If it was that,
I'm watching. You know what? It's $11.99 to rent that shit and $49.99 to buy it.
Yeah.
It's on my TV right now. When I go out there, I'm gonna finish watching.
Yeah.
But they ain't pull it down because they're gonna make money. They're gonna make even more.
That's all it comes down to. That revenue.
They're all the way to the bank.
That revenue. That's it.
And I don't even like this word, but I'm gonna use it just for the context of this conversation. And be like, yo, we took that nigga down, and the niggas was still paying to watch a movie any fucking way.
That's it.
They don't care. They don't care.
Now
that's a smoke screen. That anti-Semitic shit is a smoke screen.
Smoke screen. Yeah, no, I do. And they throw that shit out there to when they want to damage somebody's career or their credibility too, man. I hate that shit. Because they did that shit to Nick Cannon too. And to me, because he was sharing his views on the Hebrews and shit. I'm like, oh, all right, man.
Why do we always have to apologize?
Yeah, that too.
This is a grown man. This is a grown man with Kyrie Irving and Nick Cannon.
His own thoughts.
They didn't like the way that Kyrie apologized. It's like, because it went from, okay, we want an apology. So Kyrie being Kyrie, he gave the apology his way.
His way.
But that wasn't enough because he didn't say, Massa, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's it. Nah.
That's what they wanted to hear. If he would have said, Massa, I'm sorry,
they probably would have accepted that shit.
Over.
Yeah, they were like, oh, that's good enough. We like that shit.
He didn't say he was sorry. Yeah. So he apologized. He didn't mean to hurt nobody and all that. That wasn't enough. So guess what? Now the commissioner of the NBA supposed to be talking to him next week. Oh, he went to the principal's office to be chastised.
Yeah.
He ain't a little boy. He's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
But we looking at it, we laughing, we think that's very high. Yeah. Oh, he shouldn't have run his mouth. Are you kidding me?
Nah.
If Sojourner Truth wouldn't have ran her mouth, if Frederick Douglass wouldn't have ran his mouth, and by no means am I comparing Kyrie Irving to the people who helped us historically.
No.
But you got to understand, if these people didn't run their mouth, if these people wasn't willing to put their life on the line for us, we wouldn't be sitting here now.
Exactly. They standing on something, man. Fred Hampton, they standing on something, bro.
Yeah, and so I'm really, I'm big on that. So I know we kind of deviated a little bit, brother.
That's all right.
But I wanted to touch base on that because I think that's another important piece, that people understand and realize, like, look, I'm a dude, I'm all about the fun. I'm all about the radio. I'm all about my family. But at the end of the day, I'm a Black man living in America. Trying to survive. And I need to have everybody understand that we got to survive moving together. We got to change how we doing business.
Yep, word bomb. And we got to advocate.
Coming at us hard in 2023, 2024.
Yes. Yep. And we got to advocate for each other. And we have to move in position with each other. I don't give a fuck if you don't like somebody yesterday, the day before, this, that, and the third. At the end of the day, if it's somebody that can help you and put you in a position to succeed and you can create an opportunity for them and stuff like that, that's what it's about, man. It's about that mobilizing and moving together in a positive way. And go fucking vote too. And vote for the people.
We voted today, but
and vote for the people that's gonna put you in position so you have your voice heard and some things that happen that's going to possibly change not just your life, but the generations after our lives. Bear, we got to wrap up.
Absolutely.
We got to wrap up. Yo, I knew this was going to happen, brother. We two intelligent black people, man, and we doing our thing, man. I just want to say, thank you, brother, for coming on this podcast, this episode. You know what I'm saying? The background, it's getting dark and shit in the background. Say with me, whatever. I didn't hit the light on and shit, but I want to say to everybody that's rocking with us on Eclectic Minds Podcast, subscribe. Hit me with the sponsorships. Eclectic Minds Podcast 2019 at gmail.com. That's our email. Hit us with if you want specific guests or anything like that, or topics and shit like that. Me and Liv gonna be talking about. We on every podcast platform. We're on YouTube and stuff like that. Just check us out. We got already some episodes and shit out there, man. Again. And we also catch us on social media and shit like that too. Bear, appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for coming on, man. We'll build more. I'm gonna hit you so we can touch upon about other stuff too, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, family. I'll talk to you. Yo, Eclectic Minds Podcast. Peace.